Hold on a second, Dolphins Nation. Did you just read what I read? Darren Waller, a player who just retired citing health concerns, is reportedly being traded to the Miami Dolphins? And this comes hot on the heels of us shipping off Jonnu Smith, a tight end who just had a career year for us. Are we truly making a calculated, brilliant move here? Or are we just swapping one set of questions for a whole new, even more precarious pile of unknowns? My head is spinning, and I have to ask, is this the kind of high-risk, high-reward gamble that wins championships? Or is it a desperate roll of the dice that could leave us with nothing but buyer's remorse? The news, as reported by NFL Network's Tom Pelissero, is that the New York Giants are sending the recently unretired tight end Darren Waller to the Miami Dolphins. The details? We're getting Waller and a conditional 2027 7th-round pick. And in return, the Giants receive a 2026 6th-round pick. On top of that, Waller is reportedly signing a one-year deal worth up to $5 million with Miami. On the surface, the draft capital seems minimal, a mere swap of late-round picks, which might lead some to believe this is a low-risk acquisition. But the story of Darren Waller, particularly over the last few seasons, is anything but low risk, and it casts a long shadow over what this move truly means for our beloved Dolphins. Let's not forget the context here. Waller announced his retirement just 13 months ago, explicitly citing a health issue he experienced in November 2023 as a reason. This wasn't a player stepping away at the peak of his powers to pursue other interests. This was a player whose body, by his own admission, was telling him it was time to step back. Now, just over a year later, he's back, and he's a Dolphin. While his 2023 season with the Giants saw him pull in a respectable 52 passes for 552 yards and a touchdown, it was a far cry from Pro Bowl form he showcased in 2020 with the Raiders, where he consistently eclipsed the 1,000-yard mark. That magical 2020 season, where he was one of the most dominant tight ends of the league, feels like a distant memory when you look at his recent injury log. And that injury log, my friends, is where the real concern lies. Waller's career since that Pro Bowl year has been a relentless battle against his own body. In 2021, he missed time with an ankle injury and then 5 games due to a knee injury. The very next year, 2022, saw him sidelined for 8 games, almost an entire half season, with a nagging hamstring strain. And in his most recent and supposedly final season in 2023, another hamstring issue kept him out for 5 games. We're talking about a 32-year-old tight end with a documented history of chronic soft tissue injuries, who just retired due to health concerns, now being asked to step into a high-octane offense. The optimism, if any, has to be incredibly guarded, bordering on skeptical. This acquisition becomes even more perplexing when we circle back to the Jonnu Smith trade. Just yesterday, we were scratching our heads, wondering why the Dolphins would part ways with Smith, who was coming off a career year in 2024. Let's reiterate, 88 receptions, 884 yards, 8 touchdowns, all career highs or match previous bests, earning him his first Pro Bowl nod after 8 seasons. Smith was a dynamic, reliable, and healthy contributor to our offense. He provided that crucial YAC ability, that physical presence in the middle of the field that perfectly complemented Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. The article mentions the Smith trade as part of the Jalen Ramsey-Minkah Fitzpatrick trade. But let's be clear, Jonnu Smith's trade to the Steelers was a separate transaction. Minkah Fitzpatrick was traded from the Dolphins to the Steelers years ago, and Jalen Ramsey was acquired by the Dolphins in a different deal. The Jonnu Smith trade was its own entity, and it sent a proven, productive player to Pittsburgh, where he promptly signed a 1-year, $12 million extension. So, we traded a tight end who was just coming off a career-best Pro Bowl season, a player who was healthy and productive for us, for a late-round pick swap. And now, we're bringing in a tight end who is older, has a significant injury history, and just retired due to health issues, for a similar low-cost draft pick and a modest contract. The argument, as presented by some, including Joe Schad of the Palm Beach Post, is that it's a low-cost move that's probably worth it given Waller's potential. And yes, if Darren Waller somehow defies all recent history and reverts to his 2020 form, staying healthy for an entire season, then this could indeed be a steal. His size, athleticism, and ability to create mismatches in the middle of the field would be a huge asset for Tua Tagovailoa and our passing game. He could be that third legitimate threat, taking pressure off Hill and Waddle, and providing a reliable target over the middle. But that's a massive if. The reality is, we're banking on a player who has consistently struggled to stay on the field, a player whose body has repeatedly failed him, and who chose to retire because of those very health concerns. The low cost of the draft pick and contract doesn't account for the potential opportunity cost. What if Waller spends significant time on the sidelines? What if he can't replicate even his Giant production, let alone his Raiders Pro Bowl years? Then we're left with a gaping hole at tight end, having given away a player who is already performing at a high level. This isn't just a gamble on a player's talent. It's a gamble on his ability to physically withstand the rigors of an NFL season after a significant layoff and a history of chronic issues. This move feels like a desperate attempt to fill the void left by Jonnu Smith, but with a piece that comes with significantly more question marks. It puts an enormous amount of pressure on Waller to perform and on the Dolphins' medical staff to keep him on the field. For Tua, it means another tight end situation that is far from settled, another variable in an offense that thrives on consistency and chemistry. While the potential upside of a healthy, motivated Darren Waller is tantalizing, the path to achieving that upside is paved with a long and concerning injury history. This isn't just about replacing a player. It's about making a strategic decision that could either elevate our offense to new heights or leave us scrambling for answers once again. So, what's your take on this, Dolphins fans? Is this a stroke of genius? A calculated risk that will pay off handsomely? Or are we setting ourselves up for disappointment by trading away a proven commodity for an injury-prone, recently retired player? I want to hear your thoughts, your hopes, and your fears about Darren Waller joining the Fins. Let's get a lively discussion going in the comments below. And if you're feeling the mixed emotions I am right now, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more passionate Dolphins analysis. Fins up.